Hey guys, Mike here. So what another reversal in red day today. So again, what do we got? They run us up overnight, gap up in the morning, Trump tweets some stupid tariff stuff, and then you see the waterfall effect come down. These are huge reversals coming down, but two very big things happen. Actually, I'll go with three big things happen, especially for the S&P chart, which I'll show you. And so tomorrow go ahead and tell you now PCE. And so that's a big data point to see if it's going to try to turn this up, because we're sitting at some very, very critical spots now in the market. But in the 200s, and I'll just say this now, and I'll show you the charts, because I'm not going to do a whole bunch of charts with everything down. But there's two things you got to watch for. One, we're not that far away for the 200 on the S&P or the QQQ. Two, you got major, large stocks, Mag 7s, right? Doing what? Breaking the 200 moving average. And it's not about the break. That's fine. What do we got to look for now? We got to look for the retest to see if we get rejected. And it's the rejections where you get usually even bigger moves down. You also got, which I'll point out on these charts, you also got to watch for lower highs being set on a lot of these, okay? And so when your large, heaviest weighted stocks are doing this, the market's coming down, right? And the funny thing is, you see a lot of high beta stuff. It was actually up today. It was green. So some money was flowing into that. It was good to see HYG finally go red. That's, junk bonds. But it's like I told members, look, it's very simple. The president nor does his administration care about the stock market or the crypto market, that's for sure. What they care about is the bond market. What they care about more importantly is the 10-year yield. And they want to drive it down. That's what they've been doing. That's why they're firing everybody in sight. That's why they're sitting there trying to say we're going to cancel this contract, cancel that contract. Who knows if that's what's actually happening? But what does that mean? If you can shrink the deficit, that means you have to issue less bonds, less treasuries, okay? And so that would drive the 10-year down. What does that have people doing? They look at TLT. They are flowing into bonds to try to capture those yields before they start coming down. We've seen this before, right? When they're like, oh my God, it's going to come back down. They start flooding in there, and then all of a sudden the 10-year started ramping back up, okay? And so that's what you see happening right now. So if it's money's flowing into bonds, which is a much larger market, what's it not flowing into? It's not flowing into the mega caps. It's not flowing into the stock market, so to speak. Okay, so that's the thing you got to look for. So not only you got money going into Chinese stocks and other stocks, Europe and everywhere else, you got it going into the bond market. That's creating pressure. Okay, just kind of FYI. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll talk about this more in Saturday's video, by the way, and I'll update you. I thought about putting there's a lot of data that's come out, but honestly, don't worry about that right now. Okay, this ain't so much about the data, but we'll go over that. I'll probably put that in Sunday's video too, and just load you up on that to catch everybody up when I talk about PCE, where it comes in at, and then we'll talk about the other stuff. Okay, so the major things here. Okay, again, not too many charts today. When you look at it, here's your S&P. Okay, going back to November 2023. There it is. Right, that trend line. There's the third touch. Do we bounce? The cliffhanger, right? Look at this. Filled the gap to the penny, and that's where we stopped. Oh. Can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. It's like they're setting us up for something, right? But you see all that liquidity? Oh, boy. Okay. Now, going back here, here's the 200 moving average. Looks like it's far away. It is not far away. It is not far away at all. Okay. If we measure this out, you can clearly see we're talking about a little over like 2.5% to get down to the 200 moving average. Like, that's nothing. And so, got to watch out for that. That don't mean it's going to stop there. That's just how far the 200 moving average is. It would be much healthier bounce if it did. But again, you would take out January's lows. That's another thing we're looking at here. Now, you look over here at SPY and what's happening again. It's funny. I keep adding levels to the downside thinking I have enough for supports, and it just never works out. I mean, this reversal was over like 2.5% reversal or something like that. It was some crazy mess. But you can see clearly these levels. I'm just make them up. We gap up in the morning, run up overnight, gap up in the morning. Trump tweets about tariffs. I think he put some tariffs on somebody or threatened or whatever. And then, of course, the market starts to fall down like it's like a monkey falling out of a tree, bro. It's just hitting tree branches on the way down. It's bouncing at the supports. He's turning what was targets after it hit into resistance. And you see right here, we move up. Boom, take out that target right there. We took out two targets. Try to come back up. These are huge swings, by the way. Enormous swings. 1%, 0.5%, like 5.5% swings, 0.85% swing, 2 over 1.5% swings. Crazy. All right, come up, hit what was support. Now it's resistance. That's what happens when you break the supports. They become resistance. Okay, and so that 595, 85, 3 different times we got rejected. Okay, then we come down. We try to hold 592 multiple times. All right. And then when that breaks, you always get this cascade effect because we were in negative gamma. And then, so the downside moves are exacerbated, and it's going to continue to happen as long as we stay in negative gamma. Okay, we got to get back into positive gamma, and then you can have some exacerbated moves to the upside, right? But that's what's happening. If you're wondering, like, we've seen these like waterfall type moves every day, and then we get down to the monthly low. We had broke monthly low yesterday, set a new monthly low, went ahead and just took that out. Boom, no problem, and then filled that gap to the penny. What are the Qs doing? Not very far away from the 200, right? There's a small gap, and not saying we're coming straight down here. I'm trying to tell you, usually you get your bounces, right? You've seen it every day. So I'm just saying, for the targets, if you're looking at them, right down there, it's, what is it, less than 1.5% away, I believe it is, but it's somewhere around the 490 mark. And so, you know, pay attention to this one right here. And this right here, of course, we broke this trend line already. And again, we're not even getting like super big retraces right now. That's usually in the cards at some point in time, but right now that's just not happening, especially after NVIDIA earnings, which we'll talk about. Now, speaking of NVIDIA, what's it doing? Look at that candle. Oh my goodness. It was up, you know, it was up today green, like it came back up and then just dropped like a rock. Okay, puts came flying in. This is below the 200. It did not set a new low though. Okay, what are we in? Downtrending channel right here. Okay, some people call it, that's a bull flag, whatever you want to call it. It's just a downtrending channel to me. But it hadn't set a new low. I'm actually going to draw fibs from where this whole rally started back there in August of 2024. And right now we are in a discount, not a big one, right? So we can keep coming down. The question is, are we going to challenge the bottom of the channel first or start to head up and try to challenge the top? But the one thing you're looking out for on this is that 200 moving average challenge. Is it going to reject if it comes back up to it or break back through? Okay, that's just the way it is. And right now, semiconductors, which we'll go over, AMD, the advanced money destroyer as well, just a hot mess, to be honest with you. Now, Tesla is right there. It is 200. Didn't quite hit it today. Doesn't have to hit it to the penny. Question is, if NVIDIA continues weakness, does Tesla finally, after coming down this far, actually start to move or what? Because they did put some news out today, which didn't affect it at all, about, hey, we're doing some kind of paxi thing out in California or something. But that didn't really affect us. So even in extended hours, we still didn't hit the 200 exactly, but it's right there. I mean, it's pennies away from this thing. There's that gap. We'll put the gap in together. So that will be that November 5th gap right there. And so that will be huge. If it gave back all of those, oh my goodness gracious, man. Again, this is why I just justify every time I say I never own it, but I'll dang sure swing trade it and all that fun stuff, okay? Because that is just a mess right there. I mean, absolute mess. It giveth and it taketh away even faster. Gotta love it, because Elon's too busy up there firing people, cutting jobs, and not running Tesla right now. Okay, he's got too many hats going on. His first order is supposed to be to his shareholders, and obviously that's not the case. Now, SOX is a big one. I'm putting this up here because we talked about one yesterday. Again, if semiconductors continue to go down, it's going to put a ton of pressure on the Qs and the SPY for that matter. Okay, it's a big deal, and it's all about this AI pump and everything else. And I'll talk to you about that in just a second, a little bit more. And so you don't need this shaded area to fail right there. That is key. AMD, the advanced money destroyer, sub 100. Oh my goodness. It has rode this trend line down. I mean, I don't have the 200 on here for any real reason, but you know, I think, and there's a chance it comes down right here, right? That's a fair value. You got big fair value. You got like 98 something. You know, I mean, but we've seen this before. You see up right there where it rode, if you drew a trend line, you would have seen it just running down like that, and it finally hit this line down here around like 94, and then it bounced. So that was support right there. You see it multiple times. And so we'll see if we're coming back down there or not. That's going to be key. Again, let me know what you're doing, if you're riding this one down or not. But that is crazy right there. Now, looking over here at Amazon, another big one, right? Another heavyweight. It's another one, riding the trend line down. Just keeps rejecting. And so this one right here, what you don't want to see if you're a bull, is to break that low right there and set a new low. If it breaks that low right there around 204, it's coming down to the 200 moving average most likely, for sure. Right around 200, it's a moving average. It moves, of course. And again, these don't have to come straight down. You should see bounces and everything else. You know, and again, maybe these don't come down 200. Maybe this is it. Maybe we flip tomorrow off PCE and away we go, right? We've seen this craziness before in this market. And, you know, again, actually, I'm going to stop there. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But Google's another one. Broke the 200 moving average, and it's like a waterfall, right? It's just a falling knife right now. And so what's going to be the end? You can see it fell right there, and this is what you're looking for. A really big, significant bounce up, start another trend line move up. That's what you're looking for. 200 usually does hold for it, but, you know, again, not this time. So now you're just looking at levels upon levels, and maybe where it's at is sitting there at what used to be resistance and support. So it's sitting right there. Again, a lot of this stuff is primed to bounce. It is primed to bounce, okay? And so that's why I'd be surprised if we fall through tomorrow. That's going to be stunning. But again, PCE may have something to do with that. But you get in that point where all these things are sitting on major trend lines, at least get, whether it's a dead cat bounce or whatever, to get something, okay? Now, obviously, we have core PCE, personal income, personal spending, and then Chicago PMI, so definitely loaded on the data front right there for sure. And really what you're looking at here is a market like 2018. I said it even before we started this. 2018, I said this is going to remind me of 2018 because we were in a trade war. There's always tariff things going back and forth, and uncertainty creates this kind of market, right? Some people love it, some people don't. Okay, it can be hard to stomach for some folks, right? But it's one of those things where, you know, I heard business people talking yesterday, and they were like, look, companies, we have to be able to project out, long ways out. If we're going to build a plant, that takes a lot of research, a lot of time, and there are businesses saying right now, we were planning on building a plant here, but now we've put all that on hold because we don't know. Like, because it's a big move. If there's a 25% tariff going on Canada or Mexico or Europe or even another 10% on China, which Trump announced, you know, all this stuff, that changes people's business decisions. It has to, right? Because that's an expense they have to incorporate. It's a big expense, and they're going to have to pass it on as much as they can to consumers and all that fun stuff, right? So that uncertainty is what you're seeing right here. This is what happened in 2018. Okay, you're seeing it happen all over again. And so this is another reason why the 10-year is saying the Fed's going to have to cut multiple times this year. Okay, because it's clearly, I know one thing I saw was, I'll try to find this chart for you, put it in Sunday's video, but it was the distressed consumer, because most of the consumption now is falling on most people watching this video, okay, not the bottom 50%, but the other folks, right, who actually have enough income where they can have savings and investments and all that stuff. That is not what you want to do, okay? That's not what you want to do, because the bottom 50% are getting crushed. And so, and they're mad, and they're actually having to cut back. And so, and now, of course, a lot of them are getting fired. So, you know, it's like, that's not what you want to see, all right? And another thing you got to think about, too, if the people who are, say, in the top 25, 30% of the country's income, what do those folks normally do? They budget. They're actually good at savings, all right? They don't go out and just waste money. That's why they have it to invest, right? So that's not the people you want to be going on. You want the people that don't budget, don't have any clue about finances. They're just out there running their credit cards up and spending. That's what really makes the economy function. But those people are in distress right now. And if tariffs do get passed, it's going to raise the prices even more. That's just the way it is, right? For me, I'm just one of those folks like, just, you know, pee or get off the pot, bro. Either do it or don't do it. But quit announcing something and then delaying it and then announcing it and delaying it and I'm threatening it. Just have the moxie to do it, or don't do it and shut up and go about your business. That's kind of how I am. But anyway, you know, we'll see what's going on. And also, I want to get your opinion on this Doge thing. Like, I'm hearing from neighbors that work for the government, right, and the things that have happened to them. And my biggest thing is, I think the government needs to shrink for sure, but I think you need to do it responsibly. Like, to find out they're not even really even, they're just laying people off, like just waving a wand at them. Just saying, here you go, bye-bye. You know, and then like my neighbor, her son got just laid off because he was one of those people on probation. He was 11 months, 2 weeks in. He was 2 weeks from being permanent. His job is to track weapons of mass destruction using some drone technology he can't even tell me about because it's classified. That's what he did in the military. And then he gets an email, he's gone. Like, they didn't bring him in the office and tell him, he's just gone. I'm like, do we need that? I mean, I don't know anything about weapons of mass destruction or this drone. Like, do we need him? And he's like, they didn't even ask me. They didn't ask anybody. They just wave a magic wand if you're on probation and you're gone. And I'm like, yes, if we don't need it, great. But just to wave a magic wand and everybody on probation is gone makes literally no sense. You know, it's like here we are in the middle of tax season, and now we're firing 6,000 RS agents. And you're like, could you not wait till after April 25th? Like, there better not be any delays in people getting refunds. You know what I'm saying? That's going to affect people. That's going to affect the economy. And that's usually what happens when you lay a bunch of people off. Couldn't wait till April 25th? I don't know. That would have been smart, right? Another guy, he's getting paid more now. It's going to be cost cutting. Another neighbor works for the military. They're making him drive to Virginia 2 hours each way, 1 day a week. But guess what? They're paying for his travel. And he gets paid good money. So now he's like, I'm making more money. Yeah, I don't want to go in the office. And he says, a bunch of us, we have to drive in from all over the place. And they're paying for all our travel time just to show up for 1 day a week. And now we're getting paid more money. We ain't saving nothing. This kind of stuff makes no sense. But just to say, you got to do it. You got to do it. Didn't have to do it for years, and now you got to do it. You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane the way they're going about this. It makes no sense whatsoever. So that kind of I gotta say that one bothers me a little bit. It really does. So, I don't know. I want to get your comments and stuff like that. I always enjoy you guys' opinion. Really appreciate it. And I'll end up seeing you guys on Saturday's video. Put any questions at the bottom you have. Knock that out. On Sunday, we'll set up next week, which is going to obviously be a big week for sure. So we'll see if we get a rally on Friday or not. Let me know if you think that's going to happen. Anyway, please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Think about signing up for the membership, less than the McDonald's combo. And I'll see you guys later.